Hello, everyone. I am Alicia Buss, host of the Global Men's Summit with a focus on masculinity in relationships. And we have 2 epic days getting ready for you, and just a series of legendary men from all around the globe who are going to be vulnerably sharing their stories with you, as well as some incredible wisdom and tips for you to get through some of the things that you're struggling with. So don't be afraid to ask any questions that you would like, to vulnerably share your own story, and these incredible men will be more than happy to do their best to guide you along in their way. Today, we are filming from the studios at Forecast.tv, which is a division of the Forecast Broadcasting Corporation, located in Southwest Colorado. So thank you so much for being here today. Our first incredible epic speaker is Dossou, coming to us from the Netherlands, originally from Togo-West Africa, who has his own incredible journey to share. He is an author, an inspirational speaker, a founder of the Leadership University, and so much more, so much more. So he's got a lot more that he can share about the incredible things that he's done within his own life. But Stephen, please do just take it away.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Alicia. I think you are awesome, and you are double and triple awesome. Hi there, other gentle people. I'm very much excited to be on this platform and to be sharing some amazing time with you today. I'm a firm believer that nobody knows it all, and I think that's why we are here to learn from one another, right? So yeah, Alicia, I would just want to say thank you again for being inspired, right? Because that's what it is. You were inspired. Inspiration is defined as a mental stimulus that pushes us out of our comfort zone to create a little bit that is something more, something that nobody has ever thought of, right? Or in some cases to reinvent the wheel. And I think what you have done here, Alicia, is unique. I personally have never come across anything like this. And I think it is to be praised, it is to be respected. So chapeau to you. And to the lovely fellows that have joined us today, I just want to say welcome to you. And it is always my pleasure. An honor to spend. How best can we lift each other up, or how best can we color each other's path again today? Alicia, okay, am I frozen again, or I'm live?
No, you're good. You're good. It was just like there's a little drag there, but you're totally fine.
Okay, great. Well, is it my time to shine, Alicia?
It's your time to shine. Take it away, my friends.
Okay, thank you very much again. So, gentle people, you know, I remember a few weeks ago when Alicia called me, and she was like, "Hey, welcome, James." And she was like, "Hey, listen, I just have this whirlwind of thought, this whirlwind of inspiration in my head, and I want to come up with something like this, right?" And I mean, personally, like I said before, I've never heard anything like that, right? So the first thought that came to my mind was, you know, oh, but what is this and how is it going to work it out? And I remember bombarding Alicia with like tons of questions, right? Tons of questions. But here's the thing. The truth is that the questions that I asked Alicia, right, did not only come from a place of curiosity, right? They also came from a place of me being exposed to something new, right? It also came from a place where yes, Alicia, right, by whom, by the way, I had never met, literally was my first time meeting her, you know, and coming up with this, she said, look, here's my background, you know, I've never organized summit before, I've never done this or that before, but I am going to do this no matter what. And you could see the fire in her eyes. She was like, hey, I'm going to do this at whatever cost, right? Yeah. So I'm saying, like, the questions we're asking her did not only come from a place of a person that was curious to know how, but the truth is, my mind was telling me that
Oh, technological difficulties. I'm sure he'll come back to us in a moment.
How come this girl who came from nowhere, you know, wanting to do this? Like, how? Frozen again?
You're back.
Am I back?
You're
back. Man. I think it seems like this internet want to cut my message short, but hey.
We'll just keep going for it.
Great. So as I was saying, ladies and gentlemen, is that lady and gentle people, is that um, the source of me asking all those questions did not only come from a place of me wanting to know more, but it also came from a place where I was questioning the fact that Elijah, who has not had any background of tech or whatsoever, want to pull this through, right? Now, the reason why I'm saying that to you is that, you see, in my culture, for instance, men are educated or raised to be tough, right? You've got to be tough, whatever the case is, right? And to tell you the truth, the last time I cried, I don't know, it's more than 10 years ago since I last shed a tear, right? And the truth is that it took me that long, right, till today that I have not shed any tears. That is because of how I was brought up. So basically, I am the product of my tradition. I am the product of my culture, right? And with that following me throughout life, I tend to also be in relationships like that, right? So one of my main challenge, and I'll be honest, one of my main challenge in many relationships that I've been in is that the girls will say that I am not emotional. And I'm like, but what are you talking about? What do you mean I'm not emotional? Like, I'm with you because I'm emotional. I like you, you know, I love you. Like, how can you say I'm not emotional? They say, no, you need to show more emotion. Like, when was the last time you cried? I'm like, but I can't cry, right? Like, I don't know what it means to cry, you know, but, you know, so even though like, you know, so basically that argument will carry on and you know, sometimes, you know, become something big, you know, just for the fact that he's saying that I can't cry. Now, I was telling you about the encounter between myself and Alicia. I was telling you about just now about how I struggle very much to show emotions. Now, the reason why I'm telling these two stories is because one way or not, when we are faced with something new, one way or not, when we are taken away from our comfort zones, we have two choices. We have two choices to either show emotions, or we have two choices to either suppress emotions. Now, whether we show or we suppress the emotions, sometimes it can be the product of our environment, or sometimes it can also be what we make as men. Now, me as a man, the choices that I've made, which based on the product of my circumstances, I've been investing myself into practicing how to show emotions more, right? So if you see me laughing even louder, you know that I'm showing my emotions, right? Well, you know, how about this, right? So here you have the chat button. I think there's a chat somewhere here. There you go. All right. So what you're gonna do, lady and gentlemen, okay? So I want you to really quickly tap for me in the chat if you are with me on this, right? If you are with me, if you know something about emotion, I want you to just tap a yes or just tap a no. Calvin, if you know something about this, what I'm talking about, I am an expert at suppressing emotion. Oh yeah, you are with me on this. So me, who's this? This is Andres. So Andres and I are in the same WhatsApp group then. We are in the same WhatsApp group at suppressing emotions, right? James, what do you say? Yeah, mon. What does it mean? What is yeah, mon? What is mon? What does mon mean, James? Yeah, all right. Yes, sir. Yes, Calvin. Calvin, is Calvin frozen? Calvin, is Calvin the North Pole frozen? Oh, he's there. He's there, live and sound. I am expressive about my emotions. They're important. Indeed, they're emotions. It happens from time to time. And he says, yeah, indeed. You see, the word emotions basically is defined, right, as energy in motion. So some experts says that, you know, they are what we use to basically convey sometimes, right, the state which we have within. So for me, although I so want, you know, to express the emotions the way the girls that I've been with want me to express them, although I really try, unfortunately, because of my experiences, they've become, I mean, express my emotion the way, you know, some pretty girls want me, they've become a foreign territory to me, right? Which I'm saying that I've joined the WhatsApp group at Calvin. We say, no, not Calvin, but who said that just now? Somebody said that, you know, he also, no, it's Andres that says that, you know, he also suppressed his emotions all the time. Now, the question that comes to my mind is that why do I suppress emotions, right? Why do I have to show, that I am tough? Why do I have to show around me that, I am this guy, right? That is very, very suppressing my emotions have become should I say, a mechanism of survival. You see, something that you guys don't know about me, ladies and gentlemen, is that when I was 18, I took a decision to actually leave my country, Togo-West Africa is where I'm from. I was born in a two-bedroom house with 9 siblings. And, going to school in very humble conditions. We walked for 5-10 miles every single day. And going to university, the university was like 4,000 to 1 student. So that's the ratio, 4,000 students to 1 professor. And I remember back in the days, every professor at university that had their own projector was looked at as a star among, his colleagues. So having gone to school, in those conditions, but like I was that dreamer, I still had that dream in me. I still wanted to dream. I still wanted to achieve something, right? So at 18, I decided to leave my country, Togo, and to relocate to a different country, which I believe could offer me those opportunities. And that's what took me on a journey that took me 18 months to actually leave my country, Togo, with a backpack, few jeans, and few clothes, with less than $150 in my pocket to go from Togo to South Africa. Now, if anybody knows their geography, if you know your geography very well, you would have known that we're talking over 6,000 miles, okay? And that is what I had to do on foot. Now, let me not tell you that back those days, like over 10 years ago, when there was a lot of war in Congo, right? And there were days where to go through Congo, like literally, like I remember like some places where I would pass by, just about a kilometer from there, people were being shot, people were being this and that. On that journey, days came where I had no shelter, days came where, I had no food. Like it was all about survival, right? Now, I had 2 choices, right? It was either to wait and then cry about my conditions, or to stand the fuck up, sorry for my French, and do something, right, and fight for my life and do what I want to do and achieve the mission and get it done. Those are the two choices that I had. And I can tell you something, please fight. What I chose, my survival mechanism then was to suppress my emotions, to forget about them and focus on what I have to do, right? Of people, written books at universities, done a lot of things, But what I've understood also throughout the years is that regardless of your experience in life, right? Regardless of how you were brought up, regardless of the environment, regardless of the things that you've been through, we should not fall in the trap though we are man, to first have us to express our emotions whichever way they come, right? And that's what I'm invested in right now, to learn how to express my emotions the most. But now, the question I want to ask you right now, ladies and gentlemen, is this. So have you ever been in a situation, or should I say a survival situation, an intense death or life situation, where you had to make those 2 choices? Wine and dine. When I say wine and dine, it's like wine as in crime. Sorry, I'm rhyming with dine. As in, have you ever been in a situation where you had to whine, or you have to make that tough choices to forget about everything and keep going? And what was your choice? If you have, please say yes in the comment or write something more if you feel it. Let's do it. Andre, talk to me. Have you ever been in a situation where you had to make one of those choices? What was your choice? Calvin says sometimes we are concerned about showing weakness. That's true. It's an excuse to hide. Indeed, Calvin, can agree with you more. Andre Valencia. Andre says, yes, Andre, I'm saying that have you ever been in a situation where you had to choose either to, stay and just keep whining, or you had to make the choice of saying, hey, I'm going to forget about how I feel and I'm just going to take action and make something happen. Andre says, the connection. Oh, yeah, my connection is spotty. Okay, my bad. It's choppy. James, Andre says, totally. Been there, done that. That's what Andre says. Alicia, can you hear me? Okay. She says she hears me. Yeah. Alicia says regularly taking action. Great. That's awesome. So basically, yes, completely. Kelvin says, yes, completely. I understand it just presented to us either cower in the face of trials or rise up or confront our situation, regardless of our emotional state. Yes, Calvin. I love the fact that, everybody on this call today has been, through that valley, right? Has been through that valley that I'm talking about. James says, I choose joy. My weapon of choice is love, always and forever. You see, James, thank you actually for opening up, or paving the way to the next point that I was trying to make, right? So the next point I was gonna make, was about love. You see, love, we talk about unconditional love, right? So unconditional love is basically loving somebody regardless of their mistake, regardless of their background, doesn't matter where they come from, right? So and again, like personally, that is the battle that was something that I battle with every single day, right? So how am I able to still, express this unconditional love for the people around me, for the things that I do, and still being, a student of expressing emotions, right? So I'm forever a student, at expressing this emotion. I'm forever a student at having this unconditional love, at practicing this unconditional love, let alone for myself. And I'm not even talking about the people around here in Bali, Ubud. And if anybody knows, right, that Ubud is should I say, the lost city of yogis, right? so almost everybody you meet there, right? It's a yogi, okay? And one word that should I say, it's a combination of word that's used there. I bet you that if they could count how many times these words are used in Ubud, I bet you could be more than 10 billion times every single year. And that word, you want to know what it is? That word is self-love, right? Everybody that you meet, right, talks about self-love, okay? Every single way, like the lost city of yogis, all the yogis, they talk about self-love. Okay? The girls talk about practicing self-love. The guys talk about practicing self-love, right? Now, what is self-love, right? Self-love, I guess it is unconditional, isn't it? Self-love basically consists in putting yourself, right? Treating yourself with respect, loving yourself and trying to put yourself above everything else, right? Now, the question I'm gonna leave you with today is this. So, are we able to practice self-love even though we are not experts of emotions? In other words, are we still able to be successful at practicing self-love, even if we suppress our emotions on a daily basis? Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Stephen Dossou. Have a great day or a great summit ahead.
Thank you so much for all of that, Stephen. We really appreciate your time and everything that you shared. Does anyone have any questions for Stephen? Please just unmute yourself and jump right in. Don't be shy.
I'll gladly jump right in. So Stephen, first of all, I heard you're in the Netherlands, which is my home country. I'm from Rotterdam originally. I appreciate the last sentence of your message, which is, can you truly experience self-love if you're not feeling your emotions? What's the way to feel your emotions?
What's the way? Let's go and privately later about Africa. Cool, James. That'll be awesome. Well, Sorry, repeat your question again, Andres.
So you're leaving us with a powerful statement, which is, in order to experience self-love, we got to feel our emotions. At least that's my interpretation of what you're saying. So
yeah,
how do you do that?
Well, I'm not a guru, right? I'm not a guru, but from my experience, right? So first of all, I believe that everybody, right, has a definition of self-love. Okay, so in the lost city of yogis, where I'm talking about gurus, for instance, Ubud, for instance, to the majority of people that when they talk about self-love, their self-love consists in having their yoga rituals every morning, eating vegan, okay, and traveling the world, right? That's their definition of self-love. For others, their definition of self-love is getting wasted, getting high every single day, right? So what I'm saying is that personally, I believe that we can still practice self-love based on the definition that we attach to it. And sometimes that definition does not involve emotions, right? So if you ask me whether I love myself, the answer is yes. But whether I practice the self-love, right, the way it's supposed to be, whether I practice the way the Tibetan do, whether I practice it to the core of the spirit or the soul, that is not my place to answer. But to me, I believe that I practice self-love. So if for you, Andres, self-love means writing 15 books a day, if self-love for you means that achieving all your goals and dreams and what? Spoiling your girlfriend or making love to your woman the way you want it, if what the self-love for you. And in the process, right, you are or not even able to, express your emotions, whatever that it is, I still believe that you're practicing self-love. But if in the process it involves for you to express your emotions, then you are practicing self-love while expressing your emotions, but not all the time that you have to express your emotions to have self-love. Well, that's it. Thank you, Andres. Am I frozen again?
Calvin?
No, Stephen, quick question for you. How do you deal with anger in a healthy way?
Okay, right. So first of all, if I'll be honest to you, ladies and gentlemen, I get frustrated. I do not get angry. Okay, because I've trained myself, over the years, not to be angry. Right? I've conditioned myself not to be angry. So what I do when I face a situation that's is most likely to make me angry, like immediately, I breathe in, and as it comes in, I let it go at the same time, right? So what I experience in 90% of the time is frustration more than anger, because what I've learned to understand, the belief that I had to build, right? Share the difference between frustration and anger. Okay, the belief that I dare to, for me not to be angry is that anger never ever fixes anything. Anger, it's always a result of destruction. That's the belief that I had to embrace and accept for myself. Although some people will argue that, hey, but anger can also be a source of motivation. Look, my response to that is simple, right? If you are motivated, you are motivated, right? You don't have to be angry to be motivated. Better be hungry and motivated. Yeah, that's my answer. But okay, so Calvin says, can you share the difference between frustration and anger? Well, I would say that anger. I would say that anger is like the elder brother, and frustration is the younger brother. Well, so I can define anger, right? Anger as this let me put it like this. Anger is an intense, it's an action that we have not consciously given a thought. right?
Stephen, can you repeat that? You're a little bit frozen right now.
Again, if there's any, I can define anger. I define anger as a wind of emotions, okay, that could lead us into taking some actions that we have not given full conscious thoughts to. That's anger, okay? Then I can define frustration as, again, frustration is also a whirlwind of also a whirlwind of negative emotions. But in this case, it's a bunch of emotions that that get us to actually question something that is external to us. That is frustration. That would be my definition, Calvin, about both.
Stephen, we lost you for part of that due to the internet choppiness. Can you go over anger one more time, please?
Aha. All right, cool. Okay. So I was saying that, can you hear me? Okay, Alicia, all right. I was saying that I can define anger as a whirlwind of negative emotions, which could lead us into taking some actions which we have not given conscious thoughts to. Right? Okay. And then I can define frustration, right? I can define frustration as also a whirlwind of emotions, but in this case, they are not necessarily negative, right? A whirlwind of emotions that could lead us into questioning ourselves or something that is external to us. That's how I will define both. Alicia, did you hear me? Yeah.
Thank you for that. Calvin, do you have something more?
Yeah, I mean, I can add something a little bit. Yeah, when we experience anger, in 99% of the time, I mean, according to one book that I read, I just forgot the title, is written by Robert King. He says that when we from a place where of a place of hate, you know, anger is an emotion that usually when we experience it, it's most likely to lead us to do something, right, that we're most likely to regret, you know. So his formula in the book was very simple, and I'm sure a lot of people know it, is that when you get angry, just take 1 second, right? Because he says that 1 second, right, can make a difference. In the book of The Instant Millionaire, Mark Fisher, he says that whether it's a moment of joy or whether it's a moment of happiness or whether it's a moment at which the transformation is happening or the moment at which the person is making the million, the difference is just 1 second, 1 instant. That before you experience anger, if you can take just 1 second and take a breath in, immediately all the tension dissipates, right? All the tension falls away, right? So I believe that anger will, you know, it's always, you know, that whirlwind of emotion that's most likely to cause us to do something that we're gonna regret in the future. In dealing with our emotions, anger, what would you say to an individual of how to deal with shame and guilt from expressing anger? How to deal with shame and guilt from expressing anger, or maybe guilt from not caring for oneself? Well, first of all, Calvin, my question will be on the first question. You said, what would you say to an individual of how to deal with shame and guilt from expressing anger? So if you are saying that there is a shame and guilt from expressing anger, which means that at the first place, the anger led the person to committing some actions that is not bringing him or her shame. Is that a shame or guilt? Is that what it is, Calvin? Am I frozen again? Or, that?
Sometimes it's a little choppy. Calvin, feel free to just unmute yourself and run it through, my friend.
Yes, depending on the person,
yes.
that sometimes So depending on the person, from like how they express their anger, whether it's yelling, whether it's getting frustrated, in a way that may seem like to transgress their personal boundaries, they may feel like, "Whoa,
Sure.
I just messed up again." And so, how do you encourage someone to rebound from something?
Exactly. Yeah. I just wanted to make sure that, you know, there is an action there, whether it's a verbal abuse or, you know, an action. Just wanted to make sure there's an action there. Well, Calvin, I think what is done, right? And it cannot be undone. You cannot reverse the past. So I think first thing the person needs to do is to definitely, right, ask for, to be sorry, ask for apologies, right? You've got to apologize if the deed has been done, right? Say sorry, and at least mean it when you say sorry, right? Mean it from the bottom of your heart. Let people see that you show you're sorry, that you are really, really, really sorry, okay? And then secondly, if you are sorry, I think you want to make sure that whatever you've done does not happen again. So you've got to go back and work on your anger situations, okay? So that you are able to manage that anger so that nothing happens again. Or maybe guilt from not caring for oneself. Well, look, not caring for oneself, it's again depends, you know, on how you look at it, right? Because sometimes people will put, right, other people's well-being before themselves, you know. So they are doing, you know, an action. They are taking an action that means more than themselves. Basically, something that is in the bigger realm of things. So, I mean, if you are doing that, which means there's a reason, there's a motivation behind the fact of you not taking care of yourself first, behind you not putting yourself first, then I think that has a good reason behind it, that has a good meaning, right? But if there's a guilt, it's just that guilt within you of not taking care of yourself enough. If you are guilty of that, if you feel the guilt within, I think the best thing that you could do is to practice for yourself self-love, like how the yogis will say, right? So how do you practice self-love, Calvin? It starts from the very, very simple things, right? Because usually when we say that somebody is not able to take care of himself, it's as simple as the person not being able to do for himself the things that he wants to do, right? So if you love, right, spoiling yourself with, I don't know, good meals, or if you love wearing good clothes, okay? So not taking care of yourself can simply means that you are unable to give yourself those good clothes, you are unable to feed yourself those great meals, right? So taking care of yourself and let away of that guilt, you know, it can simply means by starting, right, one step at the time, right? It says that, what do they say? It says that the longest journey that you can ever be on always start with one step. Okay, from here to America, from here to Africa, it always starts with one step, right? So start taking one step into treating yourself right, okay? So, I mean, if for instance, right, you know, which that means that's taking care of yourself, then start by doing 2 sit-ups a day, right? And then the next day add 2 more, okay? And start taking care of yourself. And by the time you know, after 5 months, here you are, right, doing 70 sit-ups in the space of a minute, right? And then you can let go of your guilt, right? And in the process, while you're doing the sit-ups, eat less pizza too. Yeah. Okay. So Andre says, Stephen, in relationship, in my experience, anger comes up for sure, no doubt. How does your experience growing up, being a man, influence your ability to express your anger? Okay. So I want to correct this one more time. That in my response earlier, I mentioned that it's been ages since I've experienced anger. What I do experience though is an unbelievable driving force to be angry at my, how do I say, to be angry at my demons, right? And when I say my demons, I'm talking of the 3 toughest demons of mankind, which are fear, self-doubt, and low self-esteem. So in other words, what I'm trying to say is that if anything that I experience the most is the driving force of achieving something, right? But when it comes to anger, as in, that will translate in using abusive languages or losing it or no, that I have not experienced that. I've taught myself not to experience that in many, many ages, right? And what I do, my secret is very simple. Immediately when I feel that anger is building up, what I do is I pull myself out of the situation. I look at it as if I were a third person, right? What would I be telling myself to actually react? What would be the right way that I would advise myself to react in that situation? Now, once I do that, I see things from a different perspective. Then immediately, I'm not angry anymore. But in my relationships, right? So here's the thing, Andre, is that in my relationships, first of all, when I want to be with a woman, when I look around, okay, the kind of woman that I want to be with is a woman that does not make my life a living hell, okay? I don't want and I don't like hysterical women, okay? Women that when they get angry, they will expose you to the entire world. No, like that, no. No, that's a no-go zone for me, okay? Like that one, never, ever, ever, okay? Now, what I do, Andres, is in the worst cases possible, is two things. I either keep quiet, okay? So which means that I fall back into my man's cave, okay? I fall back into my corner. Or secondly, what I do is I walk away, right? Now, if I'm living with the person, if we are under the same roof, I can take a walk, right? I can take a walk to let go of the frustration, okay? Or I just keep quiet. Whatever you say, whatever you do, I just keep quiet and look at the girl, until she's back into herself. Then we can talk again. My code of rule in the relationship is this, right? That anything, literally anything that happens between us, we must be able to sit down and have a conversation like civilized and adult people around it. If we are unable to do that, then we are not in business, okay? So there should never be a situation in the relationship where we shout and scream at each other. That is a rule that I set from day one on our first date. It's like, hey, listen, if you're gonna be in this bus with me, understand that in this bus there's a no shouting policy. Okay, there's a democracy here. We must be able to talk things through like civilized people. So the day you're gonna find yourself screaming and shouting at me, you must know that that's the day I'm gonna walk out of your life straight. That's what I do. Yeah, it's not negotiable, unfortunately. Okay, you are always one decision away from a totally different life. So, yeah, big time. I like that. Stephen does make a decision to take care of yourself now, today. The time is now, not tomorrow, not today, but the time is now. You gotta take this. Yes, my man, right now. Yes, you gotta take care of yourself, man. Like if you don't take care of yourself, who else is gonna take care of you? And you better start now, right? Because tomorrow, you don't know if tomorrow is gonna come. So do it today. Do it today. Yeah, like that. We all aspire to not be that woman. Oh yeah, man. Big up to you, my brother. Agree on this. That's the thing. Yes, gentle people. Anybody has any question for me? I hope I have given a proper shot to answering your questions though. If I haven't, please call me out so I can give it a shot again. Can you hear me or I'm frozen again? Okay, cool. Thank you.
Stephen, it's James from Toronto,
yes,
Canada. Pleasure to meet you. Thank you for sharing today. I have a question regarding Africa. Where did you say you were from?
Togo, T-O-G-O.
T-O-G-O. Where is that geographically?
Yeah, a lot of people don't know it. Usually when I tell people, they were like, Tokyo. I'm like, no, not Tokyo, man. Come on, look at me. That's next to Ghana. It's next to Ghana. It's a neighboring country of Ghana. It's a small, tiny country. North to the south is 600 kilometers. East to the west is 180 kilometers. And there's about 7 million people living there.
Okay, wonderful. My question for you is, I work with 14 to 17-year young at-risk teens, predominantly boys for the past, 18 years. However, just got into working with ladies as well because society is made up of ladies and boys. One of the things that we work on diligently with the young men is respect for women, love for women, like our sisters, our mothers, our grandmothers, for all women. Wanted to ask you a little bit about back home in your country in Africa. Let's say you're talking to 14 to 17-year young men in your culture. How would you educate them, or how would you talk to them as if you were a leadership coach or a mentor to a group of young boys, or even one individual boy, regarding masculinity, showing up in the essence of masculinity amongst other young females? What is the culture like there?
I think he's frozen. He'll come back in a minute. It'll be fine.
Okay.
James, that's an excellent question. I so appreciate you bringing that forward. Stephen, you're back. Fantastic. Or was for a second.
Okay, am I back? You hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes. It's a little choppy.
Yes, we can hear you. Yep. That's blue steel.
Okay. All right. To a 48-year-old woman, about. Can you hear me?
Yep.
We can now.
Okay. All right.
We can hear
you.
Okay.
So, I mean, every time I'm frozen, just you gotta cheer. You gotta be like, yeah, you know, then the camera can get some motivation. Okay. Okay, James. So, first of all, I was saying that I was speaking to this 48-year-old woman. Okay, she's Dutch, and she said something very interesting, which I kind of agree with. She says that nowadays, you know, with the world, you know, having progressed, you know, in many ways, nowadays, especially in the Western society, people are struggling to determine what is the place of a woman, what is the role of a woman in society, and what is the role of a man in the society, right? And I mean, that is the truth, I think, because you see, I mean, in the olden days, men brought food home, okay, and the women took care of the kids. So they both had their places in the home, in the family, right? So the roles which they played were very clear, all right? And the foundation of the family was built as such, okay? But obviously, after the World War II, when the men came back from war and women were starting to work, started making money, they worked in the factories, they took over the jobs of their husband. I think from there, society took a different turn, of which now women are able to do everything that men can do. Men are, and okay, obviously men cannot give birth, right? But the point is that there is a crisis. Okay, there is a crisis in the society where, especially in the Western society, where now women don't really know what role to play, and men, especially men, don't know which role to play anymore, right? Now, the reason why I'm bringing that up, James, is that at least until only, I would say, 3-4 years ago, in our African societies, the role of the man and the role of the women were still very clear. Okay, at least according to our culture, according to our own understanding. Okay, which was very simple. So the man's gotta work. If you are a man, you gotta hustle very hard, make money, provide for your family. And if you're a woman, you gotta assist your man in taking care of the home. Okay. Now, not to say that women are not allowed to work. No, women do work. They have their small businesses. But when it comes to the moral, okay, the moral obligation of each party, those were the moral obligations. All right. Now, does that mean that women are seen to be less by men in that society? The answer is no. Okay. But here's the thing. If you take a woman out of a Western society and throw this woman in my culture, for instance, the Western woman will see herself not fitting there, right? The Western woman will say that she does not like the way she's treated by the man. But that does not mean that the man in my society is treating her less, but the man in my society has only an understanding of what place she occupies in the family, right? Now, the reason why I'm bringing all this up is because what I'm trying to say is that, so what happens, we are only a product of, of our traditions, of our culture. Now, what will happen among, for instance, a young Togolese, who is between the age of 17 or 14 or this and that, what will happen if he has to be, in the presence of a woman? He will treat the woman based on how he has been taught how to treat a woman, right? Which is what? To give the woman her place of a carer, her place of a caregiver to the family. And he will put himself in a situation where he works very hard to provide for that woman, right? Now, what is the challenge with that? The challenge with that, James, is that last time I took a girlfriend she told me that I must go fuck myself. Like, the date ended there, right? She exactly right. The date ended there. She told me, like, but why are you insisting on paying? Like I'm very much capable, right? But I'm saying, but hang on, like, where I come from, we pay, okay? Like we pay, we take care of you, all right? So all you have to do is sit next to me, be pretty, let me take care of you. It's like, no, like, that's not gonna work, okay? Then I learned that, and the second date I went on, now listen to this, the second date I went on, this time I kept quiet, I didn't offer to pay. And guess what happened? He thought I was not gentle enough. Well, anyway, now James, here's the thing, okay? So what I'm trying to say with all this is very simple, is that in my culture, the role that the man plays, which is being the provider, supporter, okay, the backbone, the foundation for the family, that's what it is, okay? So from an early age already, we carry those values within, okay? But when I found myself in a Western society, I have to be less of a leader in the relationship. I have to, so for every decision that is made, I cannot take it on my own anymore. I have to consult with my girlfriend or my partner. And if she disagrees, then it's not gonna happen, right? So romantically speaking, how are, like African boys, how are they supposed to? Well, I'm still saying that they treat romantically speaking, they treat women as how they have been taught to treat the woman, which is protecting, providing, right? And taking care of the woman, right? Now, how should they, I will not say there is a should to it, right? Because there's no ultimate way of doing things, right? We are only, as people, we are only trying to improve on our ways on a daily basis, right? So I'm against abuse anyway, whether it's emotionally, whether it's physically. There's no man that should ever abuse a woman. I believe that women should be taken care of and held like eggs. That's what they are. They are very fragile. That's what I look at it. Right? Not all of them are, but most of them are, right? Man, your question is a long answer, but I hope that my speech has answered your question. If I haven't, please call me out and I'll give it a shot again.
Thank you for sharing, Stephen. In Western culture, take for example, the hip hop scene. A lot of hip hop music, very derogatory towards women, calling them bitches, hoes, etc. I'm not sure if you can hear me, Stephen. You look frozen again. I was about to get up and celebrate, but let's see if you can hear me. Or you're in deep thought.
I can hear you.
You can hear me. Okay, good. Yeah, so
I can hear you.
Yeah, like I said, like in Western culture, it's almost considered cool amongst the ages that I work with, the 14 to 17-year-olds, especially those that are caught up in gang life or keeping up with the other boys, keeping up with the Joneses, trying to fit in, peer pressure. They speak of women in a very derogatory sense, and the music culture almost makes it cool and it glamorizes it, which I'm absolutely against. Now, I'm not speaking for all 14 to 17-year-old boys, because there are amazing kids out there as well, but that particular influence is very, very strong in modern day society. Is it like that as well in African culture? Has that penetrated to the point where, you know, the young boys are being inspired by this filth?
Yeah, I mean, I would say, yeah, it's true, totally. I mean, most of the 98% of the rappers are black, right? And if any youngster, whether black or white, is inspired by hip hop music, he's most likely to, adapt to that language and eventually behave accordingly, right? So yes, it is. It does happen as well there. But I would say that, because in our society, I mean, we have a very, very, should I say, um, let me put it this way, right? So when we are brought up, we are not brought up, smack me if she sees me doing something wrong and then justify it to my parents that, hey, your son was doing something wrong, I saw him and I punished him, and my parents will say, thank you, well done. Okay. So because there is that factor in the society, it hasn't escalated, as far as it's deafness of such disease. Can you hear me? Hello, James.
We can now, yeah.
Yeah. Did I answer your question?
I only got the part where you asked, "Can you hear me?" Everything else, no.
Oh, no way. Oh shit. Okay. Okay. Let's go. Okay. Let's go again. Somebody
just about two sentences. Maybe rewind.
Okay. Let me go again. Right. So James, what I was saying is that so in definitely there is an influence of such, because 90%, not even 98% of the hip hop scene, right? Blacks, right? They are blacks, and most of the youngsters, when they identify themselves, right, to those hip hop rappers, they are most likely, which happens to adopt the language and eventually the behavior that goes with it. Okay, so if our society back then is affected with it, yes, the answer is yes, we are. But I'm saying it's not as intense as how it is in the Western, due to the freedom, right? The freedom of living, due to the democracy, due to the rules that govern our societies. And I was giving you an example that in my town, for instance, right, like in my home country, for instance, we are brought up by three parties. So we have the parents, and then the third party is a society, our neighbors, our cousins, our this and that. So if my neighbor, found me doing something wrong outside my home, my neighbor has the full right to punish me, even though she's or he's not my parent. He can punish me and then come justify it to my parent, and my parents will say, well done for punishing me. You get what I'm saying? So there is always this third eye, that is watching you. So consequently, the extent that you go into things like that is more controlled. It's the village. Yes, I agree, James. It takes village. Yeah, so it's more controlled. So it's not as as should I say rotten. Sorry for the word, but it is what it is. Let's call it spade. Spade is not as rotten as yet as it is among young people in the Western society. So yeah, there's still that level of respect that we give to our women.
Do you think young people? I mean, and doesn't just go for young people. It goes for all men. Do you think men that behave like that, do they feel more masculine? Does that make them feel more macho, more masculine, or is it just because they're trying to fit in and keep up with the Joneses and blend amongst their peers? Or I've never been like that. I grew up in a very chivalrous society. Like my background is Central European German. And my father to this day is my hero, how he treated my mother till the day she passed. So it's foreign to me. So I just don't understand the feelings men would get by behaving in such a manner. And obviously, you know, today's conversation is about masculinity and, you know, self-love and self-appreciation and self-confidence. Do you think that makes men feel more confident, or what do they get out of that?
Well, first of all, let me say that it's, I mean, such behaviors, I think, is just a product of ignorance, right? Tremendous of ignorance. I don't think men, right, being, you know, calling them names or looking on them, that makes you men at all, right? However, where that comes from, right, a principle, how do I say, the principle in the masculinity, which speaks about dominance, right? So basically, people who do those things, you know, believe in dominance, that by doing so, they are dominating their female partner, all right? And not to say, James, let me add that, not to say that you have some broken women. I call them broken because that's what they are. They are broken by their families, by their society. Some broken women love that, right? When you call them bitch or when you're beating them up, you know, they love that. That's how they interpret the expression of love from the man's side, right? But again, I'm saying they are broken because that is just pure sickness. You know what I'm saying? So I personally condemn that. I don't think that is right that man or woman should be treated in calling those abusive words. But again, I'm saying that those people who do so, they do it because they are ignorant, right? They do not possess that understanding, right? They say that there's no hazard. The hazard is the manifestation of a law we have no knowledge of, right? That's what a coincidence is. And if it happens that they're doing that, it's because they have no understanding of what should be.
If you were coaching a young boy caught up in that language and that lifestyle, what would you say to coach him otherwise, or to inspire him that there's a better way? How would you get through to a young man on his way to adulthood that lives that lifestyle and speaks that way? What would you say?
I really appreciate these questions. Stephen, hold on a second. So we're actually at time. And Craig is here from Father Nation. It's actually a really great transition point to the things that he believes, as he's against gender-based violence. And he is here he's written several books about fatherhood for men that are about to be fathers and everything else. He is actually the GQ humanitarian. He got the GQ humanitarian award for 2019. We've got just so much going on here. And so what I'm going to do is, Stephen, I'm going to give you just a minute, maybe or two, to wrap up the question that James just gave. And then we're going to transition over to Craig here from South Africa, actually. So we're really excited to have him here. Thank you so much for that. So Stephen will wrap up, and then Craig, you're the stage, man.
Great, James. So to answer your question, I mean, personally, I believe a lot in the Bible, and I believe it's a great book. As a matter of fact, let's meet in Togo for sure, James. Yeah. So as a matter of fact, you know, the title of my book, titled "Be Transformed," is inspired from the Romans 12:2, which says that do not conform to the things of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, right? So I believe a lot in some principles in the Bible because I believe they are universal. They never, ever die. And one of the principles in the Bible, James, it says that, you know, the man shall protect and take care of his woman, right, of his partner. The woman is made from his ribs, so therefore he must protect, you know, and take care of him. You cannot beat your own rib, right? You cannot curse your own rib. Okay? So if I had coach, right, any young man that is growing up in touch, you know, I think it's all about instilling in that young man the right values, okay? Because once we have the right values, it governs our life, okay? The reason why you are able to say today that your father is your hero in terms of treating your mother is because he showed you what the right values are in how to treat the woman, right? And that's what we also owe to the younger generation so that they can grow up strong, respectful, and honorable. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Stephen. I really appreciate your time. It's been wonderful to have you here with all of us here today and sharing your wisdom and being so vulnerable about everything that you've experienced in your own life. We really appreciate you. So.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Alicia. You're awesome.
Thank you so much. Very welcome.